Hey, sorry, this is quite funny. I think the camera's there. Yeah, I decided to record a video um, because I've been meaning to post on YouTube for about 4 years now. And I always said I'd wait till I had like a proper camera and the proper kit and all the stuff because I'm all about gadgets because it gives me enough time to procrastinate between thinking of doing a thing and doing a thing. um, but yeah, it's probably 4 years later since I said I was going to make a YouTube channel. And I can feel myself going back into the mindset that I was in at the time that I wanted to start recording. And it's funny because I'm doing a lot of the same things now as I was doing then. I've stopped really using my phone. I've deleted my social media. I'm eating really healthy again. I'm not really like drinking or smoking, and yeah, been having like a spiritual experience, which is the common theme of the last 4 years anyway, in and out. But I feel like I'm connecting back with a much healthier version of myself, which is so amazing. And actually, the main thing that has got me here again is meditating. I mean, I've been exercising and going outside more again, trying to create, even though it's been really, really hard. And now I almost know why, because this is the sort of stuff that my soul wants to create right now. But I am creating a bit again, a bit of art, a bit of music, and I have a project of a book that maybe I would publish one day. It's just kind of about the meaning of life, or what I've discovered about what the meaning of life could be or is. And I was influenced to write that book because, well, I mean, I've been having a weird time in general as a human and spiritually. It's been a fucking journey. But what inspired me to make that specific book is that it's a long story, but I have been triggered to do a lot of research about topics that I hadn't quite looked at to this level, definitely not. So it's going to feature like Stoicism and Buddhism, Taoism, religions in general, how Buddhism came about, how like Christianity came about, how like Islam, Judaism, like how they're all connected. So I'm eating carrot. I don't know if I apologize for eating carrot already. I don't know why. Anyway, so yeah, religious studies, like ancient philosophies, New Age spirituality, just meditating, quantum physics, because that has been my saving, honestly, because I've gone down such a scientific route. Well, I'm trying to go down a scientific route. I have been trying to go down a scientific route because I got very sucked in by a lot of like New Age spirituality, which was amazing, and it took me to a certain point. But then the problem is there's so much information on there, like especially if you've got Instagram or something, or like whatever social media, you're receiving so much information, and if a lot of it is really, really true, and it's like, wow, that's so true, that resonates, that's so accurate, and you're receiving all this information online, and I was only following like art pages, spiritual pages, and close friends on my Instagram. So I was looking at this stuff every single day, and so much of it's like, yeah, that's so amazing, that's so true. Oh wow, I just looked down and it was 444. That's cool. So yeah, it would be so true, so powerful. But then at the same time, like some things would be filtered through that I would in the moment kind of like question and want like think, oh, is that real? Like, but then actually I decided I don't want to believe in those things. Like, I feel like there's a lot of, because these things are written by people. Like, you have to bear that in mind. Like, any religious text, anything online, anything that you read or you see, it's written by people, and people are flawed naturally. And even though it can be like some things are said at such a high like frequency of truth, and that's like, wow, that's really true, that resonates, there's all sorts of stuff going on, and we will perceive things depending on our like, well, perception of the world at that time, and it can become our truth. And I realized, yeah, so basically what I'm saying is I realized that there were a lot of things in that I was reading about new age spirituality that I didn't want to accept as my truth anymore. And that's why it's, yeah, good to learn discernment. That's something I've been really trying to focus on the last kind of year, is discernment. Like, but anyway. So that's some of what I've been thinking about. This feels really good because I feel like none of my friends at this time are capable to listen to this right now. And even if they are, maybe I'm not capable of telling them, because it's like a social anxiety where I'm like, oh, are they going to judge me? Are they going to understand me? Like, I'm feeling a desperate need to be understood right now. I feel very misunderstood at the moment, and that's fine, but it's also lonely. And also, like, I feel like my soul is trying to tell me is that, like, you don't need people to understand you. And I just got a ringing in my ear when I said that. So yeah, that's kind of what my soul might be saying to me. Highly recommend meditating, everybody. I know I sound absolutely mad or whatever, but it's just mad. And like, look into free will, look into the science. I would say that's something that's really helped me connect back to myself recently, is science. So yeah, like the maths and the science of how everything is. And you know that saying where it's like, everything is meant to be, and people are like, oh, no, it's not, no, it's not. Well, it's like, it kind of is. You know, if you threw a rock into a stream, you would alter the direction of some of that water. That would make a difference there. But otherwise, it is. And so, like, I'm losing a way to explain this. But it's about free will and like how everything's meant to be. It's like, yeah, so that stream is going at a certain rate in a certain direction, and that's not random. It's like how steep the hill is, and what the weather conditions are like, and how much water is in the start of this water. I don't know what, like the pressure of that water will change that, and then alongside that, so it's moving, and it's mathematical. Like, it's like, I hit this rock, so I will move this way, and then the wind goes, so I'll go that way. It's not random at all. It's like all meant to be. And like, when people are saying, oh, it's meant to be in like spiritual communities, that's what that means on a scientific or mathematic level, is that every single, and psychology, and on a psychology level, which is science, but like, everything that we are and everything that has happened is, in a big sense, meant to be, because it's like, we were born with the parents that we had, everything influenced us, you know. And scientists that talk about free will can explain this much better than I am. But it's like, everything is because of something. And so what I'm starting to believe in, like, how like psychics and mediums can work, is it's people who understand like the wavelengths. And this is what I thought before, but I'm trying to really be more scientific now, because I got very lost away with the fairies And it was so fun and it was so good, and I'm ready to like spend more time in the fairyland, but I want to have some more rooted like stability in like kind of facts proved with maths and science, because it actually deepening my faith. I mean, my faith has been ripped away from me recently, but I'm now deepening my faith, which is what happens. But every time I'm surprised because it gets so torn away, and I'm like, well, every other time I've made it back to faith. Will I make it back this time? Because it's such a shattering of my mind and who I think I am. But yeah, free will. It's so hard to try and explain this. Like I said, there's other better videos to explain it, but like it really takes you back to that meditative place. And I feel like I can feel myself going back there now, because I've been just saying how my mind feels, how my ego feels, but I can feel a little bit more like in that meditative observation of the thoughts, because that's the thing. It's almost as if like, our consciousness gets tricked into believing that we are all those thoughts, and that's what people say when they say you're not your thoughts. But it really is true. Like, we don't actually really have choice on those thoughts. Like, it's, in a way, not much choice a lot of the time. We're looking for more freedom and choice, but they are just happening. Thoughts are just happening, and it will completely depend on the whole thing of our life. This, because this and this happened, and this happened, this happened, this happened. That makes our thoughts. And so when you remember, when you meditate, and when you remember that, I mean, God, I'm going to go on different tangents, but even like they did studies, your subconscious mind lights up before your conscious mind is even aware. And so it's like that's happening before you're even conscious of it. Your subconscious already knows. So like when we're talking, it's our subconscious talking in a way. I think. I don't know, it's confusing. But all I really know, is that consciousness is not those thoughts, and I'm just behind that, and I'm just observing. I'm just in Eloise, in this life, and living, inside Eloise's life, behind almost, but then maybe I'm becoming more conscious, so I'm intertwining that. And I can't help but think, like, when I'm talking right now, I can feel a lot of judgment coming up. Like, thinking, oh, people are going to watch this and they think that I'm really mad, or, oh, hippy-dippy bullshit. So, yeah, just thought I'd brought that up. That's what's coming up. But, yeah, doesn't really matter what anyone thinks at all. Like, is what it is. But yeah, I got inspired by this guy on YouTube that at the start of my big awakening about 4 years ago, I watched a lot of his stuff and it really resonated. And then for a while it didn't resonate, and I wasn't really, I mean, I was a bit in a weird place anyway. Well, yeah. But then I watched one of his videos today, and it really, 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 really resonated again. And I'm like, cool. But like, even in his video, it like made me more aware that like nobody stays on a wavelength. Like, you can't, and that can be the problem. And that's like why discernment is so important. Is like, you could follow a teacher, but like I wouldn't necessarily just keep following everything they say, because they're human and they're flawed just like anyone else. So sometimes their spiritual knowledge that they're going to share with you is not aligned to what you want to do necessarily. Oh, it's all a bit much, isn't it? But anyway, I've actually decided, I mean, I'm going to try really hard not to like overshare too much though, because that's something I've done a lot in my past. So I want to talk about my mind and how I think about things, but I'm going to try not to go into too much like detail about my past. So hopefully I won't do that. But anyway, I got inspired by that guy to start making videos. And you know, it's actually funny, is this is the least alone I've felt in a while, because I feel like I'm connecting with myself, and also potentially I will connect with other people online who understand what I'm talking about or thinking about. Yeah. And you know, it's actually starting to make me think that I think it might be time to stop seeing my therapist again. I can just imagine like comments, like say if people actually watch this. I don't know if people will watch this or not, no idea. But it doesn't matter at all. But I was just imagining comments like, no, go see your therapist, you're crazy. When this is the most sane I've felt in a really long time. It's just funny, isn't it? But yeah, I'm starting to think that I might it might be time to stop seeing my therapist and use this as almost my therapy, or one form of that, because everybody has limits, and well, not necessarily, they don't have limits, we're limitless, but humans in a sense, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not even going to put that label on what we do or do not have in that way, because it feels a bit wrong. But what I'm trying to say is, I feel like I've not outgrown my therapist, but I will just outtrip my therapist at this point and outtrip my friends at this point. But then again, probably not, because my friends are very, very amazing, evolving souls who, a lot of the time, we really resonate on the same truths. But I don't feel like anyone understands me at this time, and that could just be in my own head. And like I said at the start, nobody has to understand me. So yeah, this is the first video. I think many more to come, probably. Bye guys.